Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to discuss about Venus Ketu Conjunction, navigating the knot between the material and spirit, the material world and the spiritual world. So, if you ever thought that you have a vacuum, you have everything, still you have a vacuum. You are always at the moment you are alone, and you always achieved exactly what you wanted. You finally reached a price which is called luxury relationship, and and the wealth comfort, only to find it is dissolving like a sand from your hand or the mist from your fingers. This is signature of Venus Ketu. This merely not just lack the success. If the spiritual world demand to detach from the very definition of a pleasure, um, and at the first breath yourself you will start having that detachment from and the void in the Venus. So let's decode what exactly the placement feels. It's a beautiful dream interrupted by a jarring sudden awakening, and suddenly you feel you're getting inward, and the thoughts are becoming more and more inward, and the pleasure you are seeking, which is asking you close the door, you cannot go there. It is, even if it is there with you, cannot use it. So you have wealth but you cannot use it. You are staying in a home, in one room you kept the entire wealth, but you are not allowed to enter that home to utilize that wealth. That's what the Venus Ketu happens. Let's talk about the attributes of Venus Ketu. What happens with the Venus Ketu as a combination? So, first, let's understand Venus. Venus is all about relationship, wealth, your wife, or it's a manifestation. You born to achieve or manifest something in this life in form of wealth, in the form of luxury, in form of comfort, in form of a sensory enjoyment. Example, like a scent you're using, perfumes. It's a sensory enjoyment, artistic refinement, luxury, and absolute a bridge with the world, bridge with the multiple souls. That's where your soul is seeking to connect with other soul. That's where the Venus is all about. When what happens is Venus is Ketu is ahead of Venus. So what it's saying? Headless. Ketu is headless. Doesn't understand the difference of the world and external world at all because he doesn't have sensories. Disbodiment of force of detachment. You will have force of detachment. Past life mastery. So when Ketu comes with any of the planet, he shows that mastery. You already achieved a mastery. We are your soul. We are living in multiple lives, and our job is to, as a soul's first job is to experience the planet is providing that through their attributes. So with Venus you've been enjoyed or experienced the comfort in multiple lives in previous lives. So what happens? The God is saying, "Stop. You are done enough with this, especially with the wealth and the comfort and the luxury and the relationship. Now focus inward. Get some different experience, and let's say exact where you born with this kind of a strong attachment for Venus. Eventually, you either by controlled or uncontrolled behavior you have been moved towards Ketu, and Ketu says path is a very difficult, but path is highly enlightening. The happiness is much more higher. Here I'm not talking about the luxury. Here I'm talking about the happiness within your soul will get through the Ketu. And that is where Ketu creates a vacuum around that planet. So suppose Ketu is sitting with Venus, is creating a vacuum around Venus. So Venus is the wealth in your life is there, but it is around vacuum. So during vacuum, you cannot do any travel there and reach get there. So there is a kind of confusion, and this is where the signification of the planet touches and creates that a problem. Now let's talk about the past life dates. Past life dates like those who conjunct any conjunction. Ketu, wherever sits in your chart, Ketu's job is to say you already done enough, leave that. You're done enough, leave that. So whenever Ketu transit your 10th house, he will say leave the job. Ketu is traveling in your seventh house, there is a problem with your partner. So that is where the Ketu's role is, that he will detach the karmic souls. If it is been overachieved or overworked on the karma, he will say stop that. So what happens? There is a the conjunction often carried over an excessive fixation towards the Venusian characters. The person born with the obviously with the external senses and experience it, while he is having that experience, still he want to go for it. But in past life, he's saying you had already done indulgence, your vanity or material attachment is already too much. In this life, universe demand recalibration in yourself. So whenever Ketu comes, he recalibrate in that aspect of your life, the attributes of the life, and the uncontrolled change. And your experience is soul's reaction to the sudden removal from these anchors. You've been under protected by some example I'm giving. You have been protected by your parents, and all. Suddenly they will be removed out from your life. You will become suddenly there is a vacuum. You don't know how to deal that situation, and it's a forced evolution. It will not allow you to think that okay, this is what I'm gonna do, what should I do, I want to earn wealth. So you see all the Venus Ketu guys, they will say I want to earn more wealth, I want to have materialistic life confirm. But exactly that is where they will cut from that. And it's a little difficult combination. You, if you will not let go of this material, Ketu is going to snatch from you and in any form, and often leaving you feeling perpetually unsatisfied whole life. And despite having everything, the dissatisfaction is too much in that. Unless you transform self, change yourself and move towards a different direction, that is where Ketu is demanding from you. Now, the vacuum is there. There's a specific word vacuum which is connected with the hurdles in life. So, the Ketu functions as creating hinterland or a vacuum. When it sits with Venus, it makes you feel like a outsider looking into a party where you are invited for. Ketu creates a hurdle just by raising the bar of perfection so high that no earthly person, the person who is born on this planet Earth, and he is expectation for certain desires, and that object cannot satisfy him, and that acts as a unknown entity. There is something which is there is a creating a disruptive form, and that force that introduces to confusion or isolation or bizarre interpretation interruptions in your work. You take certain actions or take small project, you some studies, it cuts you from there. And that exactly is this which is your this whenever your mind seeks some kind of intimacy or a luxury, he will cut it there. So Venus Ketu combination is something, it's a different way you can look at. Let's talk about some health perspective also, because this is connected with hormonal and physical integrity. Venus governs your reproductive systems. So especially hormonal balance has been connected with that, with the skin you're connected with that, or your even retinas, eye retina has been connected. So Ketu influence can specific and very surgical. It will give a cut to your life. So if it is in female chart, the combination of acts as a separating force. It denotes issues related to your ovaries. There could be a cyst, and or even a physical intervention like surgery can happen. So when Venus Ketu combination comes, that's something you always keep in mind. In one life there is some kind of cut is expected, and which is connected with the reproductive organ. There is a cut expected there, and it's literally cutting the tissues. So removing blockages, so if there is any cyst or anything creates a blockage, so removing the cyst can be possibility. And beyond reproductive system, look for mysterious unexplainable skin problems. Sometimes the patches come on the skin and you don't understand why this patch is coming. My skin is glowing, I have a good aura, I have a good shine on my face, and still I have a patches there. It's because there is an unexpected explainable experience of Ketu will come into that. Also, it creates hormonal instability sometimes. I will not say you have to see the full chart, but still the Ketu disrupt the steady flow of the Venusian character, the flowing of the hormones and all. It creates that disruption there, and it creates erratic cycles, emotional shifts tied to underlining endocrine imbalances also can happen. So point is, even Ketu can push, go either inward, get into meditation, or either inward, and you will face this imbalances. Now let's talk with the wealth and Vastu perspective as well. So when Venus is behind Ketu or Venus Ketu come together, there is always a challenge that there is a kind of breaks in the earning wealth. You will not get straight away wealth, and the wealth is not flowing properly. There are a lot of blockages comes. Ketu cuts the one source of income. He will literally in some places the can person can be a absolute zero money in bank account. Accumulation becomes very difficult for that person. So if we accumulate too much of money at one point or one bank and one source, that is creating a trouble. Vetu lacks Ketu actually lacks head. So what happens? The lack destination. It doesn't allow to reach the destination. So you started to earning. You are earning suppose $100. You want to move towards $1,000. You feel that I will work hard, do karma well, and I will take it to $100 to $1,000. What happened? It cuts in between. So you are certainly either the money will get wiped out or your money is getting expenses will increase and sudden unforeseen expenses come and your money from your bank is gone out. So if you really look at the energy in the vastu, look at the corners of every home or vastu is connected with ketu. If you keep that corner, any kind of corners with dark, unusable, then that ketu get activates, and once the ketu activate, it cut your wealth. Also southeast corner, because southeast corner has the most highest appetite for accumulating wealth for you, and that's the reason you need to master that corner. Because if you don't master that corner, you control that corner issues, it will affect cash flow. And I have seen that simply decluttering the southeast zone of your home